Hey everybody, it's Ann. This is day 35 of 365 days of keto with Ann. And tonight I'm making soup. I was going to make the stuffed bell pepper soup, but I've had that recently, so I decided to make it something a little bit different. I'm still doing soup, but I'm going to make a fajita chicken soup. So I'll show you what I have up here going on. This isn't your normal stock pot, but it's really deep, so it's easier to see than for y'all than if I used a big stock pot. So I have about a tablespoon of butter in there. I'm going to chop up half an onion. So this weighs about 4 ounces if you're, wanting to be really precise. So I'm going to chop up half an onion, and I'm going to I have a really large bell pepper. So I'm probably going to do half of the bell pepper. I'm going to cook that, saute it, and then add, this is a pound of grilled chicken strips. So I find this in Costco, and it comes in a 2-pack, so there's 2 of these. And I like this because it's grilled chicken, so it has the grilled chicken flavor that you get from grilling. And it doesn't have a bunch of added stuff to it. So all it has in it is, the other package has it, but I've read this before. They just add a little bit of water just for moisture and packaging, and then it's like salt and chicken. So that's perfect. I don't like to buy pre-made products that have a bunch of other stuff added in that don't belong with it. So that's what is kind of the base of our soup. So what you would think about in fajitas. So peppers, onions, the meat, which is going to be chicken, and then a can of Rotel tomato. And then I'm going to have cilantro, some Mexican oregano, salt, pepper, garlic. And then the broth is just some chicken broth. This is beef, but I have a little bit of beef left in here, and then I'll finish it with some chicken broth. And then when it's all cooked down, so I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit, about 20 minutes, I'm gonna put in some cheese. So you have a little bit of that, the richness from some cream cheese, and then top it with cheddar. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna show you how it's gonna come together. I'm gonna twist you around a little bit so you can see what's going on. So the butter is starting to, you can hear it getting hot in there. I'm gonna put my onion in, and then my bell pepper. All right. So there goes the onion. All right, and then we're gonna do the bell pepper. So I'm just going around the core because I don't want that section with the seeds in it. I'm gonna get rid of that over here. Okay, a little bit more. Has a lot of seeds. This one has a lot of seeds. So I don't like the seeds in my food. I think they're, they don't taste very good, and they're kind of chewy. So, all right. So when you're thinking, fajitas, you can do obviously any kind of vegetable or any kind of meat. And I'm really just making this up on the fly. So that is how I cook a lot of times. I usually try to be a little bit more prepared when we're talking. But I started to get all the ingredients out for my stuffed bell pepper soup, and I'm tired of, it has ground meat in it, like ground turkey or ground beef. And I've already had that a bunch this weekend. I'm just tired of it. So I decided I wanted, this seemed like it was kind of that same idea. But that's the fun part about cooking. I don't think people ever get to, to feel comfortable enough where you realize you can have a little bit of fun and be creative. Just follow some basic principles about seasoning and layering your flavors, and that means, so what I mean by that is I'm making this stuffed bell pepper soup. Well, I didn't just throw it all in at the same time, right? I started with the butter, then I added the vegetables, and then I'm gonna add the chicken, and it's all gonna have its time in the pot to kind of marry all those flavors. So the vegetables are gonna cook down a little bit, kind of caramelize a little. You're gonna draw some flavor out of them, and in the butter. And then you add the chicken, and then I'm gonna add in the tomato. So you don't want to rush it, because that's, that's kind of that's how you make good food, and particularly soup. If you threw it all in at once, it just is never going to develop that flavor. So I'm going to let those cook for probably 5 minutes, and then we'll go to the next step. I also wanted to show this ingredient. If you know what Frontera is actually a restaurant in Chicago owned by Rick Bayless, who happens to be one of my favorite chefs. But anyway, he came out with a food line, so you can find his salsas, like enchilada sauce mix, chips, all kinds of different things. Well, this is called chipotle pepper adobo. So it's just a little, it's very thick. So it's very concentrated. So you can add just a little bit and it has a really big pop of flavor. It's spicy, very smoky, and 1 teaspoon has 0 calories. And they have a less than 1, it has like a less than sign, 1 gram of carbs. So I don't know what's in it to make it only 0 calories. Like, at what point do the calories start to add up, right? I mean, there's some calories in it. So I'm gonna put probably a tablespoon of this in there in the soup. It's really gonna give it that, you know, chipotle is a smoked jalapeno, so it's gonna give it that smoky taste and a spice to it. So that's gonna go in too. If you see this in your grocery store, buy it. It's tasty. So anyway, we'll be back in a few minutes after these peppers and onions have cooked down a little bit, and I'll show you what's up. Okay, so it's been, just about 5 minutes, and I just want you to see what I'm talking about with the browning of the peppers and onions. So you can see I'm starting to get some browning. That's going to really add to the flavor if you just take a little bit of extra time to do that step. So I really encourage if you're going to make soup or some of these other dishes that have peppers and onions, do this first, and it's really going to your dish will taste a lot better than if you had just thrown it all in there raw and then just kind of let it cook down and get soft. It has a different flavor profile. So I'm going to go ahead and add some salt, pepper, the spices. So that is about, this is about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then some pepper, same amount. Okay. I'll go ahead and toss in the chicken. I pulled it out of that package that I showed you that I got from Costco, and I just chopped it up because it comes in long strips. So for soup, I want it to be bite-sized, so I chopped it up. So it's like this right here. All right, so I'm just gonna push that in there. That's a pound of chicken breast that is pre-grilled. So it's great for a weeknight, during the week when you're getting home, you really don't want to cook that much, but you want something good. And it's a cold winter day here, so I'm feeling hearty. I gotta have something hearty. Okay, so I added the chicken. Okay, I'm gonna keep adding my spices. So this is called Mexican oregano. And I'm gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of that. It's actually more than that. I'm gonna do a teaspoon because I like that flavor. Okay, and then some garlic. Always garlic. I put garlic in almost everything. That's a 1/2 teaspoon too. So just stir all that around. The chicken doesn't really have to cook very long because it's already been cooked. So I'm just putting it in there and getting all of the spices all over the meat and the vegetables before I add the liquid. That's just how I cook. You could do it any way you want. But okay, so there's that. Finally, I'm gonna put in my rotel. This is just simply diced tomatoes with chilies in it. It doesn't have to be rotel. That's the kind I like. So put the rotel in there. And then the last couple ingredients will be this adobo sauce and the liquid. So let's measure it out so we see how much we put in. I'm thinking probably 3 cups. So this is beef broth, and I'm just using what I had in my refrigerator. So I had already opened this for another recipe I did earlier. So that is about a cup. I'll open up. This is chicken broth. It's okay to mix flavors. It might actually taste even better if you did it that way, because beef definitely has a richer broth to it. But you can just do straight up vegetable broth, any kind of broth you want. Okay, so there's 2 cups. And since we're doing soup, you want, you know, a good amount of liquid. So I'm gonna put in, I think I'm gonna do 2 more cups. So a total of 4 cups of liquid. See, I don't have recipes. This is how I cook. I just kind of do it and taste and say, oh, I think I need some more. And then I have to remember to write it down so I can recreate it. Okay, so there are 4 cups of broth. So that's gonna make a very hearty soup. It's not a lot of liquid to, you know, chicken and vegetables. So I'll let you see that. Okay, see how that looks? It's almost stewish, like a stew. And then the last thing I'm gonna do before I let it simmer, and I'm gonna let it simmer for about 20 minutes, is I'm gonna put in this, oh, just poured it out on the stove. This adobo. So I'm gonna put in, I think 2 teaspoons. So there's 1, and I might add more if I think it needs a little bit more flavor. But it's definitely gonna kick up the heat because I didn't add any other, bell peppers don't have spice to it. They're not spicy. But it is gonna kick up the heat and just give it a smokiness. I'll clean up my mess I made on the stove. And I'm gonna let this go. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes and we'll finish it up. Okay, we'll let the soup cook for about 20 minutes. What I forgot to show you is I added in about a cup of rice cauliflower. So I put that in because for one thing, it helps kind of thicken. Cauliflower has some kind of thickening magical properties. I don't know why, but it does help thicken things. And also I just like that texture. So it's almost like rice. So if you're thinking, you know, Mexican food, it often has rice with fajitas. So threw that in there just for a little extra texture. I'm gonna put in this cilantro that I chopped up. So it's fresh cilantro. I'm gonna put that in now. And then I have 6 ounces of cream cheese. And this is a 1/3 fat cream cheese. So it's about a 1/3 fat lower than regular cream cheese. And they actually have the same amount of carbs in it. So you're not increasing the carbs by going a little bit lower fat. And I just like it because you're getting more for less calories. It still tastes the same. I wouldn't ever substitute it for fat-free cream cheese. That's kind of gross, actually. So I'm just gonna stir this in. I'm gonna reduce the heat to low and let it melt in, and then it's gonna be ready to eat. So after I put this in the bowl, I'm gonna shred up some white cheddar and put that on top, just like a 1/2 ounce. And then it's almost like a queso fajita soup. That's what I'm gonna call it, queso fajita soup. That's what we're having tonight. So this is how it looks. I'll show it all, once I get it in a bowl, you'll see it all come together after this cream cheese melts down. But that's all it took was just, you know, a little bit of chopping, a little bit of time cooking, and then it's ready to go. So there's your dinner. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.